Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness strongly coming, 'cause you can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hi, this is Nancy Earl, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a wonderful guest, and she's back. You know, Carmen Turner Schott is back. She's been here before. She's got a new book out along with Bernie Ashman. It's Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon. And welcome back to the High Road, Carmen.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. We always have a fun conversation.
Well, we do. You're so knowledgeable. And I was telling Carmen before the show, I actually pulled out the chart that she did for me. She was so kind to do this. I asked her, I was like, I'm going to do my chart. And I've kept it all these years because when I had like this book, when it came out and I was reading it, it helped me so much so I could know what my nodes were. And you guys, let me just kind of give you an idea, first of all, what we're going to be talking about, because astrology's magical nodes of the moon, and that's what it's called. It's about the nodes of the moon that serve as your passport to understanding your past lives. And I didn't know anything about this. I got this book, I sat down, and I was shocked. I told Carmen, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And you don't even really want to know some of the stuff.
It's crazy. When I first started studying astrology, I didn't know how important the nodes of the moon were until I started doing astrology about 10 years. And then I started doing research, and now that I'm older, I'm like, the most important thing in your astrology birth chart are the nodes, more
Yes.
than anything else. More because that's your soul mission. That's
Well,
your
yeah, and I want to talk about this, and I want the audience to understand this, because why didn't I know this? I have always read my horoscope. I know a lot of people out there are into astrology. Why didn't we know this? But let me read Carmen's bio, because she's got a wonderful biography. Carmen Turner Schott is a practicing licensed clinical social worker. She is an astrologer. She's a writer. She's a teacher with a national and international clientele. Now, she's been working as an astrological counselor, easy for me to say, and with victims of trauma for over 25 years now. She's completed her Master of Social Work degree at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri in 1999. And Carmen's been researching the 8th and 12th astrology houses for the past 25 years, you guys. She is an 8th and 12th house person herself, and she's personally experienced the energies and lessons of these two very spiritual transforming houses. Now, she's written lots of books, you guys. She's written Phoenixes and Angels, Mastering the 8th and 12th Astrological Houses, and the Mysteries of the 12th Astrological Houses, and Fallen Angels. And like I said, you've probably seen Carmen on the show before. She's just a delight. Now, also, along with her, Bernie Ashman wrote this book too. It was a collaboration. We'll ask her about that. And we've had Bernie on, and Bernie started astrology in 1973, a long time ago, and he's known for his ability to explain the complicated language of astrology in a clear and understandable way. Now, Bernie serves clients internationally and has a loyal following, which he really does. And he's worked with clients who want to achieve relationship clarity and love, which led him to write the book, The Magic of Sign Mates. So he can't be with us today, but I want you to know that his website is his name, bernieashman.com. And if you want to reach Carmen, it's carmenturnershop.com. So having said that, before we even get into her book, I just want to mention very quickly that my new book is going to launch on Amazon. I have to say this. It's A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law. So it's going to be, it won't be public, it won't be like printed until November, but you can order it for Christmas. And so I'll be out there. And I want to mention I'm going to be in Manhattan in October. If you want to come see me speak, I'm going to be talking about the angels. It's a 2-day thing, the New Life Expo in Manhattan. Please come and see me. I will do some angel readings probably. And, but I will be speaking to a group and teaching everybody how to connect with their guardian angel. So having said that, Carmen, I'm just like floored. I gotta tell you by this book. So first of all, let's go back. You say, and I even wrote this down, when you first started, or I read this, when you first started, you read about your nodes, but you didn't want to know. Talk about this.
Yeah, because my certain nodes are known to be more difficult than others. And so when I started realizing, oh, wow, I'm a North Node Scorpio, I'm a South Node Taurus, I was a little bit afraid because it's kind of like the 8th and 12th house energy. It's the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. And I did a lot of research on it. And I knew that that meant that I was going to have a lot of loss in my life, a lot of change, and I have to heal, and I have to really heal deep things from past lifetimes. And it's just going to be a lot of emotional work. And so I was like, oh, Scorpio. And I laughed because I was so opposite of that. So I thought, how am I ever going to master being a Scorpio? Because we're all here to master the sign that our North Node is in.
Is
And
that
then,
what it is? Okay, so we're
yes,
here to master the sign in our North Node. Is it? So if you
yes,
guys do your chart, I just want to mention this, the way I did it. I want to say this right off the bat. On your chart, it tells you what your North Node and your South Node is, guys. If you do your chart, it's very easy to figure it out. But
yes.
continue on, because part 1 of the book talks about the planets, the signs, and the houses. But part 2 of the book introduces you to the most important facet of your astrology chart, just like you're saying, the moon
Yeah.
nodes.
So what it is for anyone that hasn't had your chart done, you can go to astro.com, get a free chart. You need to know your date, month, year, exact time of birth is very important to have an accurate chart for the houses, and then place. And you're going to look for it looks like headphones. It's like horseshoe headphones is the North Node. It's a little symbol because the whole
Yeah.
chart's symbols, right? And
Right.
there's a little cheat sheet there that'll show, okay,
Yeah.
there's the North Node.
Yeah.
Sometimes charts won't show the South Node, but
Why?
it's always in the opposite house, always, because the
Okay.
nodes are always opposite signs, polar
Okay.
opposite.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that because as you go through the book, I was like, okay, so Cancer, Capricorn, nodes of the moon. Okay, hold on. I was like, wait a minute. Why are mine on the same pages? So that's why.
Yeah, Capricorn, I'll kind of explain it. So,
Okay.
so in the sky at all times, there's 12 zodiac signs, 12 constellations. So you're looking up at the earth, there's 12 of them. And certain ones always oppose each other in the circle. Okay.
Okay.
And Aries, its polar opposite's always going to be Libra. Taurus is opposite Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, and then Virgo, Pisces. Those will always be polar opposites, so that if your nodes will either be North Node or South Node in that pair. So you could have a North Node Libra, that means your South Node's Aries, or North Node Aries means your South Node's Libra. And so you're learning to balance those traits, but each node sign has a different mission.
Right.
And then the house that the North Node is in is the area of life that you're meant to focus that energy in. The past lifetimes, things you've already mastered, is the South Node house, that area of life and that sign, that energy. Your soul's already done it. You're comfortable. It's your past karma. And so we're here to move towards the North Node. But the problem is that the reason a lot of people don't know about the nodes is
Right.
because really got to study astrology to know all this stuff, because it's something you're not going to read in the horoscopes or in the
Well,
paper.
no, and I gotta say something, Carmen. I want to tell the audience, when I read mine, I was floored. I was like, are you serious? Now, there's
Yeah.
things I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to know, but it was like stuff that was right on the money. I mean, you were right on the money in this book. How did you get so accurate?
Well, it's
I was shocked.
it's just thousands of charts. It's energy. It's really just research, because Because when you get when you know the patterns and the energy of the signs,
Right?
you just start seeing it play out. I mean, it's shocking to me. Like
It is.
I was just talking about this the other day. I draw a lot of people that have the Cancer Capricorn nodes. And one time I did an event and everybody that came to my booth, I mean, it was random. There were 5
That's
astrologers.
me. But that's
That's
me.
you.
I'm a
Yeah.
Capricorn. I'm a Cancer
Yeah.
Capricorn. No. Oh my gosh, you
So
do.
you want me to go through each node pair and give you what their key learning
Yes,
is? Like
yes.
just
Oh my
basic.
gosh. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So Aries Libra are what I call the nodes of relationship karma.
Okay.
So they are here to learn about compromise, having relationships, commitment, also standing up for their own needs, their own wants and desires. You know, it's a balance between selfishness and selflessness, because Libra is all about what other people want and they please others. Aries is like, I want to do what I want. What about me? So it's this whole thing they're learning is relationships. Typically, after thousands of charts and just my research, anyone with the Aries Libra nodes, I always advise them to marry later in life, if they marry at all, because
Wow.
they typically divorce. And it's because when we first start out, we're not in our nodes. We're living in the past lives. We're living in the South node. And as we get older, we start having these life events, and that's our chart, patterns, triggers, things we chose to learn, start moving us into the North Node. So who we are in our 20s is so different than who
Oh
we are in
yeah.
our 40s. So I always say, anyone with an Aries or Libra node, typically there's going to be challenges in relationships, partnerships. Sometimes that means you have to grow. You outgrow your partner. Maybe it wasn't the right partner for you. You start changing who you are, and there is often a divorce or a remarriage, or you don't marry at all. You're like, I want my freedom. I don't want to have a partner, right? I
Oh
just
my
want a
God.
companion. So I see that play out with those nodes, okay? And
Okay.
then Taurus, Scorpio are the nodes, I call it, of the nodes of healing, trauma, any kind of letting go of the past, letting go, transforming yourself, being reborn, stripped away of who you really are, and going through these deep emotional rebirths like a phoenix. So
Right.
it's like eighth house kind of energy,
Okay.
healing,
Okay.
transformation. It can be painful because, Taurus likes stability, comfort, money, having security. So these are the money nodes. Typically people with Taurus, Scorpio, they don't have to worry about money, but there's challenges with that, karmic issues with other people's resources, how they make money, wanting to feel secure, all those kind of things.
Okay.
And they're learning that, right? And then Gemini, Sag, these are the nodes of learning,
Okay.
travel. Usually these people have lived overseas, have lived in different countries in past lives. They have an interest in going far away lands, learning different religions, studying different philosophies. They love to talk. They're communicators. So they need communication in their lives. And so you can see this play out with Gemini, Sag, okay? And very social, outgoing kind of people. And then Cancer, Capricorn are the
That's
nodes.
me.
That's you. You better take notes here. These are the nodes of family karma.
Oh,
Family
no
karma.
kidding.
Yes.
And I gotta tell, well, no, I won't say anything.
I think it's interesting that you just moved to be closer to your grandchildren, your daughter, because that is what these nodes are about. Because it's all about your debts and your responsibility for your family, your parents, your mom and dad, your own children, your grandchildren. My mother has these nodes
Oh,
exactly like you. Yeah.
oh
And
my
she's
God.
taken care of her parents her whole life, but she has never left her hometown. I
Oh,
see this with these nodes sometimes. When Cancer is the South node, the person has a hard time leaving their where they grew up. They typically
oh.
stay there. But see, yours flip. You're a
Yeah, I
South.
never had that.
Yeah, so now you're building your home. You're building
Yeah.
where you feel your focus is supposed to be on your home and family. That's
Yes,
your
I read that. I read that. Well, can I tell you what I was
yeah,
surprised about? Is that all right? So,
yeah.
So believing in my own abilities is important. That was one. And I have great abilities, but it's believing, it's hard. I have a hard time not asking for support, and that was one thing you put in here. I need to be more flexible. That's absolutely true. I'm working on that. Boundaries, which
Yeah.
it's taken me forever. These are the things I wrote down, you guys. Being assertive and making your dreams come true. Learning to be patient with myself was one, because it's hard. I'm not patient with myself. Allowing intuition to function as a valued partner enriches your life. And I wrote down helping to empower others gives you great satisfaction. And that was like, wow. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I was just shocked, to be honest with you, on all of these. We'll keep going. What
Yeah.
do the rest
And
of them?
the Cancer Capricorn nodes too are the nodes of nurturing,
Oh,
because you're learning to nurture your own self and others. And
okay.
it's about the nurturing. And that's a big lesson too with those nodes, learning to be nurturing and taking care of yourself and other people. And then Leo Aquarius, they are kind of the free spirit, social, creativity, expressing themselves artistically, creatively, being in positions of leadership, where they are, respected and thinking outside the box, kind of you know, getting big ideas out there that most people might not like. So it's also I see the nodes of freedom,
Ah,
because Leos like to feel free and Aquariuses are the free spirits and they rebel if they don't feel free.
yes.
And so it's very much freedom, being who they are, getting to act, do what they love to do. It's about having fun and doing what makes them happy. Leo is the sign of pleasure, happiness, joy, generosity, and being able to shine and express their gifts to the world. So a lot of them are, creative, musical, artists, talented in some way, theater, a lot of politicians have Leo energy, and it's a balance between like emotions and intellect, because
Okay.
Aquarians are thinkers, right? They're an air
Yeah.
sign
Yeah.
and they're innovative, being creative, that's big with these nodes. And then Virgo Pisces is the last pair. These are the nodes of perfectionism.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so it's sometimes they're very hard on themselves and have a high standard and expectation on themselves and others. And these are the nodes of balancing practical service with spiritual service,
Mm.
because Virgos are always helping people. They're efficient, productive. They're drawn to the healthcare professions, the counseling, working with children, animals, all that. They like to be, they're doers, they're workers. So they're tend to be workaholics.
Yeah.
So if your South Node's Virgo, you've just been so rigid into having things in a certain way, perfection, control, organization. And in this lifetime, if your North Node's Pisces, that means you're meant to learn to relax and don't worry. Don't stress over things. Don't have anxiety over everything, but just to go with the
Go
flow,
with the
kind of what
flow.
you
I
got to
love
do.
it.
So Virgo Pisces nodes can struggle, because I often tell them, listen, you're meant to relax. You're not supposed to be doing everything all the time. You need to go to the beach and meditate and do yoga. And they're like, but I feel like I'm being lazy if I'm not go, do and do it. I said, you're not meant to do that anymore. You've already done that. And so they're meant to relax and be spiritual and be creative and artistic as well, and serve others. They are the nodes of service.
So what I'm getting from this is that whatever we did in our past lives, we come in with, but then but the node that we need to work on is the North Node, because it balances out what we've done before. So we have the balance. Is that right?
Yeah, you've already mastered those traits, so you're learning to master that polar energy,
The
that
polar
like yin
energy.
yang.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yin yang. Opposites. The opposites have to come into balance,
Right.
and that's what it is. So it's like if when, like for me, I'm a Taurus South Node. I was all about comfort and security and having a safe, just status quo, having an easy, laid back life, not having to stress, not having a lot of crisis. And
Hmm.
then this lifetime, I have to get comfortable with crisis.
I know. I read yours. Well, and you talk about yours. Talk about some of your experiences, because you do talk, is that okay? You do
Well, I
mention
think
it in the book.
I
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that, I'm in a crisis intervention career field. I'm a social worker, but I work with victims of trauma.
Mhm.
And I used to do a suicide hotline. I mean, I've done where it's like in the moment, you have to know what to do. Like it's like adrenaline, like helping someone get help that's in need. And so I always, was kind of going this route, like towards my node, even when I didn't know it when I was younger. But now when I got a little bit older, and I'll kind of explain, the Saturn return is connected to the North Node and how we get in it. And I'll explain that in a minute. But my own experience is I've had a lot of loss, and I've lost a lot of people that were close to me unexpectedly that have died. And that's Scorpio North Node. That's the eighth house. It's death, it's healing, it's rebirth, it's death and birth. It's a cycle of life,
Right.
loss, going through the grieving process, all that kind of stuff. Shocking things. When I was 16, my friend was accidentally shot and killed. And that was the first person I ever knew that ever died. It was the first funeral I had ever been to. And that changed me. And that's really when I started studying astrology, was when I was 16. And
We're
so,
looking for answers. You were trying to find
yeah,
answers. Yeah.
yeah. And then I've had a lot of other people tragically just gone. And so it's part of the Taurus Scorpio nodes, because through loss, we become stronger and we are able to help other people heal, and we become healers. So a lot of people with these nodes are interested in healing energy work, which I always did, got trained in Reiki. I'm a Reiki master, pranic healing. I took all the classes in crystal healing.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in healing and helping people. But I'm a crisis person. Like I had to learn I am naturally good in a crisis, which I didn't know about myself until I started getting in my nodes. And some of it is my Aries in my chart, my eighth house stuff too, because I just know what to do. I just act. And I'd like, do this, we got to do this. I don't panic. I
Right. You
just
just know intuitively what to do.
I kind of take charge in a crisis, whether it's calming someone down, take a deep breath, let's breathe,
Right.
whatever it is. And so, but when it really got me, when I realized, when I knew what it meant to become a Scorpio. And that was so opposite of me, because Scorpios don't trust anyone.
Right.
When I was growing up, I was naive. I was overly trusting. Like
Um,
everyone's like me. I was like, no boundaries.
right.
And if someone, they like me, I would believe them. I believe people. I see the good in people, the rose-colored glasses thing.
We're the same on that one, Carmen.
Yeah. Fallen angels. We're the 12th house fallen angels, right? Like, what are we doing here? We're not from here.
Right.
Like,
We're not
what are we
supposed to be
doing
here.
Yeah. We're not from Earth. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
so, and how am I ever going to be a Scorpio? And the cool thing is, we typically attract people into our lives that have the nodes that we have. So you could draw Cancer, Capricorn people. I attract Taurus, Scorpios. I attract them. Scorpio sun signs, Taurus sun signs. I was laughing because this one in my office, everybody is a Taurus and a Scorpio except me. I mean, they're all around me. Like I'm like, here, because it's my
Because
lesson.
they're there to influence you. They're there to influence your life. Isn't that interesting how God set this up? You can say spirit or whatever you want, but it's
Yeah.
really interesting how this is all set up. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
As I was reading this, and I think I might have mentioned it before, why hasn't anybody done this? Why? I mean, this is the first book, honestly, that I've ever seen that really, and maybe I'm just not knowledgeable enough, but I'm always looking for an astrology section and,
Yeah.
for books. Why
Yeah.
hasn't anybody done this yet?
Well,
Angel Communicator with Nancy Yearout. Discover the divine connection with your guardian angel through the guidance of Nancy Yearout, a renowned angel communicator, author, and spiritual guide. The role of guardian angels. Guardian angels are with us from birth, guiding us through life's journey and remaining by our side until we pass. These celestial beings are God's helpers, radiating a high, loving vibration to protect and support us. Importance of spiritual law. Understanding spiritual law is crucial for navigating life's twists and turns. Nancy will explain how the universe operates, making your journey smoother and more fulfilling by aligning you with these divine principles. Nancy Yearout's expertise. Nancy Yearout is an angel communicator, psychic, energy healer, and host of the popular High Road to Humanity podcast and Nancy's Psychic View. Her expertise in angel communication and spiritual law has transformed countless lives. Don't miss out on this transformative experience at the New Life Expo, America's longest-running holistic mind-body-spirit event, on October 19-20, 2024 in Manhattan. Call 516-897-0900 or visit www.newlifeexpo.com to secure your spot. Register now. See you there.
They have there's really
There's a
only
few.
one. There's like one book I know of.
I was like, I have never seen a book on
Yeah,
this
it's
before.
called it's Astrology for the Soul. It's an older book, maybe in the 90s. So, but it's in depth too. It's very in depth. It's a good book as well, and that's the only one I've ever seen. So
Okay,
Bernie and I were like, hey, let's write our own take because
yeah,
and we wanted to make it very simple. So anyone that doesn't know astrology can pick up this book,
right.
Astrology's Magical Nose of the Moon, embracing releasing the past, embracing the future. That's what it's about, going towards the future. And anybody can pick our book up and understand it basically, and you don't have to be an astrology expert.
No,
That's why we wrote it and gave tips, and it's very, very quick read. It's not very long, but we wanted to be basic with it, and where it just gives you a little insight, and it'll make you want to learn more
well, it
because it's
does, because like you give tips. I'm going to interrupt you a second and
yeah,
just
yeah,
say,
yeah.
because I really like the book. I want to say
Thank you.
everybody needs to check. I mean, everybody needs to check this out, you
Thank
guys,
you.
because well, it's true. I mean, it really meant a lot to me to read, even though some of the things, they're like, oh, I didn't, like you were saying, you didn't really want that to happen, but now I understand why
Yeah.
we have these things happen in our lives. But you give some tips for keeping the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn, balance and harmony and abundance. For me, it's try a new adventure, change, stimulates new thinking and awareness, know your boundaries, expressing feelings can be healed, channel moods constructively. I mean, you give different things that we can do to improve ourselves. And that part I really, really liked about this book. Now this I didn't know when I wrote down. Nodes are calculated points in the sky where the moon and the sun cross paths. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I thought that was really interesting. And I wrote down also every year and a half, the moon's nodes change astrological signs.
Yes. So what we call that, and it's always going to be in one of those pairs because of the opposite signs. So the nodes, when the nodes in the sky right now are the same as your birth chart nodes, we call that a nodal return.
Okay.
So for instance, like a couple before the nodes are in Aries and Libra right now.
Okay.
So what that means is that we all are being influenced by the Aries Libra energies and learnings right now. So relationships, compromise, making peace, all these kind of issues, justice, fairness, equality.
Well, that sounds worldwide right now, what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
you can see it in the world in politics.
Yeah.
So we all are being affected by the nodes because they're in Aries and Libra right now. Now, before that, they were in Taurus and Scorpio, which were my nodes. So I was in what's called the nodal return. That is when I lost a lot of people close to me and just had a lot of things trigger. Because when the nodes are in your sign in the sky, and then it kind of triggers you to get into the North Node a little bit. It helps you kind of awakens you a little bit.
Gives you
And
that little push that you need.
yeah. And
Okay.
so they switch signs. It's like about every 12 to 18 months, the nodes will shift signs.
That's
And
crazy.
so the next pattern, they just go right in order, and so it's gonna go, they shift. And then what'll happen is, what's interesting is when when we're born, we're living in our South Node. So we don't even know what our North Node energy is yet because you're not even in your chart. It's like the chart is activated when you turn 27. And
Really?
yes, that's what we call the first Saturn return. And we talk a little bit about it in the book. Saturn return, it means the planet Saturn is the planet of karma. It's the planet of what we have to balance and out, but it's duty, responsibility, seriousness, it's cautiousness, it's all about wisdom. But Saturn brings blessings as well for career success and your goals. and it makes you productive, motivated, right? Hardworking. But Saturn can be hard because it's the teacher. It's the karmic teacher. So Saturn returns to where it was when you were born. It takes it about 27, 30 years in it to move back where it was when you were born. We call that the first Saturn return. And that's age 27 to 30. Everyone on earth has this happen, whether they believe in astrology or not. Astrology is influencing you, even if you don't believe in it, because it's energy.
I
It's just
know.
like gravity. Gravity is influencing us all, guys. The moon affects the tides of the ocean.
I know.
The moon affects our cycles. The moon affects you emotionally, whether you believe in the moon or not. The moon, God created the universe, just like it says in the book of Genesis. He made the signs, stars, everything. Astrology is in the Bible.
Right.
Okay.
It is.
And so it's amazing. So
Can I
there's-
ask really quickly, when's the next one? If you
The-
live long enough, is
Yes. Okay, yes. So I just did a podcast yesterday, actually, and the lady's like, I'm in my nodal return, but I don't know what that means. And I'm like, okay. So she's in her second Saturn return, and she's in her nodal return. So she's in Aries Libra nodes,
Okay.
and she is 50, 56, getting ready to be 57. So you start feeling the second Saturn return around age 56, 57. You'll feel it.
Oh my
And
God.
this is the cool thing. By the time you're in the second Saturn return, you're in your north node. You're in it. Every time I do charts for people that are in that age range or after 60, they are in their node doing what their soul mission is.
You're absolutely right, man. You hit it. You're absolutely right. But it's took that long to get there.
It is. So don't beat yourself up, guys. This is a process.
Yeah, it
A
does.
journey. You're not going to be, I'm like, my gosh, I didn't start doing my node, which is writing, teaching, publishing books until what, like 4 or 5 years ago. I started finally getting a book published, and now I'm writing books. That's my north node in the third house of writing, communication, teaching, all
Yep.
this stuff.
Yep.
And so it took me a while, and I'm like, man, I'm almost 50, I'm 48. I should have had books on. No, don't beat yourself up.
Right.
When
Well-
the timing is right is when it'll come.
Carmen, I have been beating myself up for a while on it because I'm like, well, why haven't I done this? Because I've been doing this, started the podcast 2018, wrote my first book, Wake Up, The Universe is Speaking, in 2016. But it's taken, and I'm not going to age myself, guys, but I am older. But it's taken me till this time in my life. But I didn't think, I'll just say this. I was like you, I didn't think it was going to take, like, I would be this old before I would really be, because now it's like my new book's coming out, I'm speaking, I'm doing classes, and it's like, I wanted to do this before, but they wouldn't let me. It's like the universe won't let you until it's time,
No.
is what I want to say.
You were blocked, and I was blocked.
True.
When I laid it, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
All right.
Before I got my first real publisher that accepted my book. It was my Sun Signs, Houses, and Healing book. I was laying in bed, and I had 3 years where I knew I was in this stuck Taurus energy of living in the past. I wasn't moving forward. It's like you're stuck in the mud when you're a Taurus South node. You feel like you can feel it, like you're not growing. You're not
Sluggish. You're sluggish.
You're heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I laid there, and I knew I got to snap out of this. I've got to get into this Scorpio. I got to make changes. And I laid there, and I'm like, I really want this book published. What do I need to do? And I prayed, right? And I'm like, angels, God, what do I need to do? And what came to me was, you have to completely let the past die. If you want this book to be published, you have to release the past, and it was specifically release a certain situation that I had been holding on to for my whole life, because it was my past, a person, whatever it was.
Situation.
Yeah, situation. And I'm like, I'm ready. I want to let it go. I'm done. I woke up the next day, and I got the email that they're going to publish my book. And then I was like, I knew it was like, you can't have this book unless you release the past. I knew. And I made the decision.
Yeah, that's part of I don't want to interrupt you there, but I just want to say this is for everybody. That's part of everybody's journey here on earth, is to release the past.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I read that you wrote about mine, was something to the effect of, I have that issue too, where
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah.
I hang on to things that have happened instead of living in the present moment. And that's been I'd have to consciously, and I'm just going to say this, I know a lot of people do, I have to consciously live in the present moment. So I don't think about, and if something from the past comes in, you got to change the memory to be a
Yeah.
happy memory or do something so that it doesn't affect your energy anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's like the law of manifestation, focusing on what you want, not on what you don't want, focusing
Right.
on the good energy, the positive energy, the manifestation energy, and yeah, we all got our own journeys,
We
but
do.
I will tell you, by the time we're 57 to 60, we are in our node. If
Yep.
we're not, that's the final push that gets us into it.
Oh, so if you're not in it, then the universe will give you a real big push to get into it. Oh, I love that.
So if you start early, this is my advice to have it be less painful.
Yeah.
Learn your nodes when you're young. And I always tell parents, do your kids' charts so you know what their mission is. You can encourage their abilities
Oh,
because
yeah.
if you have a parent that knows astrology, they
Sure.
can encourage you. And because I mean, no one in my family knew astrology. I had to figure this stuff out on my own. But if you had somebody that really helped you, you wouldn't have such challenges to get into where your soul wants to. But I think we picked that though. I think I chose my parents because I didn't want to have it that easy. I think it's all meant to be who we're born to and how it plays out. But
Right.
I always say, know your node and start reading about your North Node sign and
Mm,
learn about it. Try
mm.
to be like it.
Okay, is that what I should? Okay, so
Yeah,
that's what we should do. Okay. I love
yes.
this because I always do what they tell me, you guys. So I'm supposed to, I'm looking back here at my notes. So I'm
Cancer.
supposed to real Cancer. So sensitivity to others. What am I supposed to do?
So as a Cancer, you are meant to become nurture and mother yourself
Okay,
and others. And you're meant to trust and listen to your intuition
I do.
because Cancer is the most intuitive sign. They're ruled by the moon. So the emotions, getting in touch with your emotions and allowing yourself to be vulnerable because Capricorns don't want anyone to see them as weak. That's your past. You were in charge. You were the authority. You were strong. Capricorns are very guarded. They don't want people to see their emotions. So it's like you're having to balance now and become very sensitive. Let yourself cry. Let
I
yourself
know my daughter's like, I'm totally different than I used to be. And I hadn't seen her for a while. And she's like, and she was like, start to argue with me. And I'm just real calm. I'm just like, oh,
good
really?
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can see that, but it took all these years to get to that point. I mean, I used to be more no and argumentative, and now I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
let's just all have harmony.
So you went through both your Saturn returns and you're in your node. And now the next one, it's interesting. My grandfather, I
Oh
have
my
a
God, what's the next one?
he's in his third Saturn return. He is 88. So 87, age 87 to 90.
So what happens then? I mean, when you get to that,
Well, Saturn is also can be about the end of life. It's
okay.
the endings of things. So that's why I mean I had a great grandmother that lived to be 95, I believe, but I haven't known a lot of people that have had more than 3 Saturn returns. Typically, we at least have 1, 2 if we're, lucky, and if we're lucky we'll have a third one. And my grandfather's doing good right now. But
What are
you
you
get older.
supposed to learn in that last one? I mean, everybody has something different to learn, but what is, I guess, the major?
You're already in, you've already kind of did your soul mission. So it's kind of a time of reflection
That
on where have I been? What have I done in my life? When you're 87 to 90, I mean, I can't imagine. It's really looking back at everything that you've accomplished and accepting where you're at. You've done it.
accepting life, accepting what you've done, where you're at, where
Being
you,
in the moment and
okay.
just trying to be healthy and trying to just relax and not stressing out anymore. When we're young we're always go. And then I think as I'm getting older, I'm getting to be more like, I don't care as much about
Yeah,
the things I used to worry about and I mean, I'm still a worrier. I'm a Virgo, but I try not, I'm learning to like speak up, and I'm more vocal. Like,
than you
that's
used
not
to be.
right. Like, I just like tell people what I think now. I used to never want to say what I really thought because I
Now
didn't
you
want to
do.
make anyone mad or hurt their feelings. Now I'm like, can I speak the truth real quick? Like, I can't keep my mouth shut now. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna
Well,
do
you
that.
have to. I think God wants us to speak our truth,
Yeah.
and to, I always, Jesus, is the truth and the light. I always feel that way too.
Yeah.
I really think it's awesome that you've put this book together. I want to ask you a few things if it's okay. Now,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is off the book now here for a second. I'm just going to ask.
Okay.
So we are in August, and we're recording the show, you guys, on August the 2nd. Today's the 2nd. But I keep hearing, okay, so August, there's a retrograde on the 4th. I'll just throw it all out there and then you can tell me
Mercury.
what you
Mercury.
will. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have a Mercury retrograde on the 4th. And you guys, that's miscommunication. That's where we reflect, reevaluate, revisit, that type of thing. But on August 8th is the Lionsgate portal. And this is what I know. It's the house of Leo manifesting. So we want to manifest money, relationships.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that right? 8, infinity. I mean, talk about this is coming up. What should we do, Carmen?
Well, the thing about Mercury retrograde, it's going to bring things back from the past.
Right.
Things that and we'll see this in the news. We're going to see this politically. We're going to see this everywhere. People from our past or issues from our past can also pop up and need to be readdressed. And it could just be that it's, if you didn't learn something during the first retrograde, when it happens again, you're going to have to learn that lesson again. So that's why it's like, wait a minute, this just came up like months ago. Well, I thought we had this handled, whether it's work or whatever,
Or
life.
personal. It can be either. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times people from the past, old friends, old relationships, people will
We'll
just all of a
show
sudden
up.
show you. Yeah, they'll call you, email you. You're like, what? I haven't talked to you in like 5 years. What? And they'll come back. That's normal. It doesn't mean that you're meant to be with someone or that you're meant to re-engage in that relationship. It just
Right.
means that you're meant to maybe have some boundaries and not engage. So I'm fine, wish you best of luck.
It's
Don't
like
get
a test. I look at it as like a test, like a
it
spiritual
is.
test. Like, how much are you willing to stand up for yourself
Yeah,
and not deal with that person? I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Okay. Now, what
The
about this Lionsgate portal thing?
Yeah, we got that all the time. That's a time to just be they say it's a heightened energy of manifesting your happiness, your goals, your dreams.
That's what I thought. So,
I guess the energy's more intense at that time is how I would explain it to someone. Um
right.
and so it's kind of based on the cycles of the moon, because when we have a new moon, that is when we're supposed to really try to manifest what our dreams and goals are and
Right.
tell the universe and the angels, hey, this is what we want and
Well,
this is
yeah.
why.
That's
Yeah.
what I did today. I wrote
Yep.
them all down.
Yep.
It's
And
like, I
there,
want this and I want this. And I was specific. Be
yes,
specific, you
yes.
guys. I was
So
very specific.
if you follow these new moon cycles,
It's now, it's coming up, right?
that new moon is, let me look here and see.
I'm
'Cause
writing this down.
I was just looking, I do sometimes do a new moon circle.
Oh.
So we have a full moon on August 19, okay? Full moon.
Okay.
That's when things are heightened and we start seeing things manifest from the new moon during the full moon.
Okay. So then is it new moon now on the 8th? Like, is that Lionsgate is a new moon?
No, Lions, let me make sure.
I'm just curious because
No, the Lionsgate, no, that's not the new moon day, but the new moon is a different day.
what is it?
Let me look it up. I was just seeing when the new moon was.
I was thinking it was more
yeah.
of a new moon
New moon.
now.
New moon is actually Sunday, this Sunday.
Okay, I knew that. I knew it was coming up sooner. So what you're saying is whatever we manifest on the new moon will come to fruition on August 19th.
Yeah, and it's gonna also, I think
Right.
what you're reading is because the new moon is in Leo this time, the Lionsgate energy, because Leo is the lion, Leo is ruled by the sun. So the Lionsgate will be intensified because of the new moon in Leo. That's what it is. Cause the
That's
new,
why I keep seeing this on TikTok.
yeah,
Everybody's
the
like,
new
oh,
moon
you
energy,
need to manifest, you need to and I'm like, oh, I need to ask Carmen.
yeah. And this happened last year. My friend's like, "Oh, it's a Lionsgate. What do I do?" It just means that it's
More
a
intense.
powerful energy. It's a positive energy. So if you really, we should be manifesting with every new moon anyway, every month.
Okay.
But this
Okay.
just makes it more, intensified to
Okay.
maybe, really give you that extra push if you've been stuck and not really able to manifest something that you're wanting. And sometimes there's a reason that, timing. It could be a timing thing. So I always tell people it doesn't always happen when you think it is. And like last couple new moons ago, I had a new moon circle with my friend. We do energy healing. We had all, and I teach everybody where the new moon is in their chart, how they can tap into it this month, and all that. And I did my own affirmations and everything. And I was a little scared because everything started boom happening. I mean, it was quick in
It
April.
was like, wow. Huh?
I knew I got finally found my house that I've been looking for years and years, and we moved.
Oh my God.
We sold the other house. I mean, I changes at work, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, wow. And it just boom. And then now I look back, I'm like, wow, I moved. All this stuff has happened. It's all different my whole life. So,
It works. It definitely works. So you guys hear that, the new moon is coming. And so we definitely
yeah.
need, and it's Sunday. That's really awesome. Okay. Well, then
Okay.
I'm going to rewrite all my affirmations and say them all on
Yeah.
Sunday. And I like writing them down because I think the ink makes them stick.
Yes.
I don't like when you type them or think
No.
about them. Write them
When you
down. Yeah,
handwrite.
handwrite them down, you guys. Handwrite them down. Well, I want to. We're almost out of time, but
Oh,
am I allowed to ask you, Carmen? Like world, like what do you see
ask
coming
me.
up?
Ask
Okay,
me.
cool.
Yeah, it
What do
came up
you
on
think
my
coming up
project.
astrologically? Like, is Trump going to win? Is Kamala going to be the
Oh my Lord.
person? I mean, what's going to all this stuff? Well, let me just back up. First of all this stuff on the Olympics really bothered me, and I haven't come on and talked about it. Or and this is I try to promote you
Yeah.
today and not everything else. I did talk to you a little bit about this Irish boxing champion who beat the Algerian fighter, and they talk about this guy who knocked out a woman. I was going to read that, but I really wanted to get into the astrology. But see, since we're here,
Yeah.
all this stuff that's happened in Paris, the blasphemy of the Last Supper, the horrible opening ceremonies. I mean, we're seeing all this stuff. It's in plain sight. It's not hidden anymore. We're seeing all of this.
Mm.
What do you feel I mean, and the presidential race? I mean, it's like polar opposites here.
This is Pluto in Aquarius that's going on, because when Pluto, and we're not fully done with that because it's still going to retrograde back and forth a little bit before we're in there, but when Pluto entered Aquarius before is 1800, it was during the French Revolution.
Right.
And there was a lot of uprising, and we have that now. The political stuff is so heightened, and what played out astrologically is amazing. There are video all over YouTube of especially a couple of astrologers that I follow had predicted all of the stuff that happened. They predicted it
At the Olympics, at the opening
no,
ceremony.
with the assassination attempt on President Trump, all of
okay.
Biden.
Okay.
So they had predicted that the prediction was Biden would not be in the election.
Right.
That had been, astrologers had been saying that. And what happened was Pluto hit his moon on his moon sign, the full moon. When Pluto conjuncted the moon, that's the day he resigned it and just did it. And a lot of people didn't know. And that's when he said he was dropping out of election. It was astrological. Pluto is death and change, and it just cuts it.
Done.
He made a decision emotionally that day when Pluto hit the moon is when he resigned. And before that, he was not going to, I don't think he was going to resign because
No, he didn't want to.
no,
They were trying to push him out, but he didn't want to do it.
so there was something going on also behind the scenes, but I think astrologically, what happened was we had a Uranus conjunct Mars and the star Algol. The week that happened is when all the craziness happened, and it was still affecting us.
So when Trump got his attempted assassination and all of that.
All violence, unexpected violence. I looked at both their charts, both in the public eye. We're going to see it play out on national television. The whole thing happened. Jupiter, the planet of the guardian angel, protector, was right there on Trump's Mars protecting him. That is why he survived. He had a guardian angel. Jupiter was
Well,
there.
And
Yeah.
I just want to say, you know, a lot of people have gone back to the Bible verse in Ephesians, and I even read it on the show, 6:11, put on the armor of God. And I really think that's important. I'm going to say it again. We all need to put on the armor of God right now, because this is the time. But
Yeah.
continue on. What do you see? Do you see Kamala? I don't think she's going to be the one. I don't know
Well,
why. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I think they're going to bring, I don't think she's going to be the one. I don't think she's going to be the one that actually goes against Trump. I think they're going to bring somebody else in. Am I wrong? What do you think?
Well, there's different predictions. I know this. There's going to be shocking, unexpected events and
Yeah.
changes up until the election. There's some predicting before all this even happened, there were astrologers saying that Biden and Trump, neither one will be in the final election.
I don't believe that. But I don't think he's going to run against Kamala.
I don't know if he's going to be in the election at all, according to astrologers. Now, I'm not saying
Really?
that
Really?
because there's a lot that is going to happen that is shocking. Like, we're not expecting it. And I don't know if he's going to keep the vice president candidate he picked either. There's theories he may change that. And
I like that guy so much. I'm not really happy with the guy, but I just feel like I'll ask my own angel too.
yeah, I think,
what
I
she
don't
thinks.
know, I mean, with the energy going on, anything could change, guys. I mean, like I'm saying, I don't really know who will be in election right now.
Let me see what I get. Let me see what I get, Carmen. Let me ask. All right, I'm gonna ask my angel who's divine and holy. What's gonna happen? It's gonna be Trump and a man. Oh, that was quick. That was quick.
Well,
It's Trump and a man. It's not gonna be her. I had this feeling it wasn't gonna be her.
let's see what happens. I just think, I think
You
something.
think something's gonna happen? You think he's gonna have a heart attack or something like that?
Well, there could be unexpected things that, I mean, life, I mean, health, I mean, we just don't know.
All right,
I mean,
let's talk really quickly before we get out of here. We got a couple more minutes. Let's talk
Yeah,
really quickly about just people standing up. You know, I channel Archangel Gabriel. I just channeled a message recently from him. Talks about everybody standing up and speaking up. And you know, that's what something I think a lot of people you go back to the revolution you were talking, you know. I feel like this is a time where people will finally see it, like enough is enough, and people will start to band together and stand up, because it's really up to us as humanity to band together to make a change. Do you see that astrologically as well?
oh yeah, we're in the Pluto Aquarius generation. So someone had told me, and I need to look into it. I haven't looked into it exactly, but do you know that I think 80% of the world's population is under age 35?
No, they're not very well educated.
We have all these young people. That's why we have all these protests on the campuses and all these very different beliefs, this generational thing. And a lot of them don't vote. They're like, why? They don't think voting matters because of the electoral college, so they don't vote. There's all these things going on.
They look at
And
life differently than we do.
yes, but I think some things are going to happen that more people are going to start standing up for their rights and speaking. I think we're going to have
A revolution.
a restructure of how we do the government,
I do too.
how we elect people, because the electoral college, you know, this is something Pluto and Aquarius, this is what I think. It's going to completely revolutionize, innovate how we do business, how we do, you know, the world. And, you know, I think it's going to affect our politics, our government, because, you know, I mean, look at the electoral college that was stood up when we used to be in horse and carriages. Like, people couldn't get places to vote easily in the olden days, you know. Why don't we go by let people vote and the popular vote counts for the elections?
Well, and what I think, to be honest with you, and I don't want to get into this is a whole nother show, but I think we should have like maybe 12 spiritual leaders who are out for everybody's good and not out for personal gain. I mean, I think we got to get to that point where we break down all the structure and just have, 12 good souls who say, okay, yeah, let's do it like this, or let's do it like that. Maybe it's kind of like a Supreme Court thing, but people who are more on the spiritual level instead of this money, 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 gimme, gimme, gimme status and power kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's just my wish, Carmen.
I think that it's a very unsettling time. The
Yeah.
energy's unsettling. It's this Uranus Mars stuff has triggered all this. And I don't think it's over. I think a lot can happen. And I mean, every day I watch the news to see what plays out, because that's the energy we have going on in Astrology right now, that there's going to be unexpected events.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. Unexpected events and we already had that. We've already had two, really,
I
three.
know, it's crazy.
I mean, in a short amount of time, and
Right.
it's not over. It's not over, guys.
Well, Miss Carmen Turner, Schott, if people want to get in touch with you, I know you have a website. You guys, her website is carmenturnerschott.com. And Bernie, of course, is not here, but we thank you, Bernie, for being part of this book and you guys putting this together. How can people get readings with you? I mean, sell yourself. What you got going on? You got any classes coming up? What's going on?
I'm doing these Deep Soul Divers Astrology is my Facebook group, and it's kind of my business name. I'm doing Deep Soul Divers Astrology Learning Circles. So, if you become a subscriber through my website, you can go on my website and join my monthly my subscription, and you get access to Zoom classes with me, free books, discounts on consults if you become a member of my community. And it's a new membership I have, and would love for you to join. You can try it out, and we have a great group of people, about 9 people right now. And we talk astrology. I have different topics. I teach, we learn from each other. It's like a support group.
Fun.
And then I do consults as well for couples, individuals, children, parents,
Nice.
career coaching, whatever you're looking for, mentorship. If you want to learn astrology, also, when I have time, I can do a mentorship with people to teach them one-on-one and different things. And then I have a radio show, Signs in the Sun, Moon, and Stars, every Saturday on Bold Brave TV. And if you want to come on my show, call in. I'm looking for people to call in and share their chart. And I do really I help people live and give them what I see in their chart and give them tips. And
oh, neat. That's really cool. Now, so your show again, the name?
It's called Signs in the Sun, Moon, and Stars.
I love it. That's fantastic. Carmen, it's so great to have you. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We just learned so much from you. You guys, the book is Astrology's Magical Nodes and the Moon, Releasing the Past and Embracing the Future. All right, guys, before we get out of here today, my new book, Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law, will be out soon. I'll let you know when you can order it. You can pick up my first book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. Take my angel class. It's online. I'm offering angel classes in person here in Connecticut. So if you're in the area, you can get a personal angel reading with me. Some people call them tarot readings, but that's what I do. So if you guys want one, go to my website and book your date and time. Carmen, thanks again. I hope everybody has a fabulous week. Get out there and check out what your north and your south node is. It'll help you in your life. Everyone have a great week. You're welcome. God bless.